this video is for the government agent that is probably watching my content right now. If that's not you, feel free to stay because the information could be helpful. If you flatline us, we win. Let me say that again. If you flatline us, we win. We are souls. We are not our bodies. Souls are energy. Energy is infinite, and energy can go anywhere, take any form at any time. If you flatline us, we are free. We win. Remember that.
Man in the balcony, wearing the hi-hat, would you kindly remove it?
Sir, would you grant the condemned her last request?
Thank you. I now know all your faces. If there is an afterlife, I'm gonna come back and fucking kill all of you. And if there isn't an afterlife, I'm still gonna find a way.
I'm just gonna say this. Don't let them executive orders that's coming down get you knocked out. Don't sit there because they talk about the EO program. You got people all excited running through buildings, tearing down posters and boards and stuff like that. Baby, don't let that stuff get you knocked out. Because you gonna walk around and you think that you gonna feel so empowered because the EO program is going away. You gonna say and that's exactly what you're gonna get. And that's exactly what you're gonna get. At the end of the day, you should not need a program to treat people with dignity and respect. But if you choose not to treat people with dignity and respect, you will need an ambulance. So pick a struggle. At the end of the day, most people weren't doing nothing but pretend. The only thing the EO program did was make people pretend not to be racist, and a lot of them were not doing a good job at acting. So we all experienced it anyway. The racism, the misogyny, all that other stuff. Don't sit there and think that you can walk around being all extra with it now, because a lot of people don't play like that. Yes, those orders might be trying to take us back to pre-slavery days, but baby, understand we are not our ancestors and we don't play like that. So that is what it is. You shouldn't need a program to treat people with dignity and respect. Treat people how you want to be treated. And that is what it is. I hope that this helps somebody. Be careful. Be careful. I said what I said. Next slide.
As this mystical beast sets off through the village, a woman feeds it.
Alright, so this is the human version of Quetzalcoatl. You're still seeing the same colors, aren't you? See how he has dreads all the way down. But Quez got some long, even the name Quez. We all had that one friend in school, died Quez. So Quez is a royal house name. You notice how the woman had to call out the dragon and then feed the dragon to tame him? Are you starting to see why it's so important to take the woman out of the hierarchies of our society? Because even in our tradition, it takes a woman to call forth God and give God direction. But that's in Malaysia, though. They dress like Mayans. They do Mayan rituals. Even has a Mayan god in Malaysia. You think they talk Mayan over there, too?
And even though I always fuck my life up, only I can mention it.
See, before I let you go, one last thing I need to let you know. You ain't ever seen nothing crazy then. This nigga when he off his Lexi Pro. Remember that last time in Mexico? Remember that last time the episode? Asking me why the hell I text a code 4 times as to say don't text me, ho. Told you 4 times don't text me, ho. Now we finna lose all self-control, but you ain't finna be raising your voice at me, especially when we in the Giuseppe store. But I'ma have the last laugh in the end, cause I'm from a track, I'll check a hoe. Yeah, I'ma have the laugh in the end, cause I'm from a track, I'll check a hoe. And I
wish I would go ahead and fuck my life up. Can't let them get to me. And even though I always fuck my life up,
and my new language is all a part of that. Oh yeah? Well, you see, Pop, now, I'm a black man, right? You can say that again. Come on, Pop, this is serious. Then I should have a name and a language and clothes that lets everybody know that I'm a black man. Listen, people would know you were a black man if your name was Spiro D. Agnew. All they had to do was just look at you. Would you listen to me for a minute, Pop, because this is really serious. Now, we shouldn't even have these names. And do you know any white people with names like Lumumba, or Kasavubu, or T'Chaka? I don't even know black people with names. Well, that's just the point, Pop. Black people in America have been cut off from their homeland for so long, they don't even know the names of their ancestors. My ancestor's name was Sanford. My father's name was Sanford. His father's name was Sanford. His father's father and their father. We all been Sanford. And I've only been cut off from my homeland a little over 30 years. And I suppose that's when your ancestors left Africa, huh? No, that's when I left St. Louis.
Talk to him, Fred.
I've come too far.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to be here near the steps of the capital of the state of Ohio. I am delighted to speak here today. For 12,000 years, our tribe has resided from the Gulf of Mexico north along the Mississippi River into the Ohio Valley, which includes but is not limited to Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. Proof of our existence here is found in the thousands of mounds located in this region. My name is Tecumseh Brown Eagle, duly elected chief of 139-member Erie Indian Mound Builders Tribal Nation. This land is a part of us, and we are a part of this land. We love, honor, respect, and are grateful for this great land, as many of you are. Some of you may be looking at me and thinking, you are not an Indian, you are black, which happens to be an adjective. It was over 10 years ago that I found out the total truth and learned that 3 of my 4 grandparents are registered on the Dawes rolls of the United States government as Native American Indians. My maternal grandmother, who was not listed due to her date of birth being in September of 1904, her mother is listed, which is my great-grandmother, on the Native American Indian roll. Since that time, I have been working to enlighten the world of the continuous existence of the Erie Indian Mound Builders Tribal Nation. History records the Erie Indians as being exterminated in the year 1656. Following an engagement with the Iroquois Indians.
I got a question. Do we think this is an elevate? Are they going to try to tell us they not high enough? Like,
hey, it's Fat Man Buddha. Please say the Buddha. And honestly, yes, you're not high enough. This is what I've been trying to explain to people for a very long time. The earth is flat, but the world is a globe, which means that the earth and the world are 2 different things. We are on earth right now. We are on earth right now. But we are a part of the world. You understand? So, yes, the earth is flat. No, the world is not flat. It's 2 different things, 2 different concepts. We are on the land, and the land is called earth. But what is the world called?
Let me clarify something for my fellow minorities. White minorities, black minorities, Asian minorities, whatever, right? If we as black people have been saying forever, hey, help us, this is unfair, this is whatever, and you gaslight us, say that racism's not real, whatever, because you don't give a fuck until it affects you, why the fuck would black people give a fuck when it hurts you when they now come after you after they've already been coming after us? You was on mute mode. You was silent. You didn't give a shit. You weren't out protesting. You weren't talking about it on your pages. You weren't fighting for black people. You was always giving the oppressor the benefit of the doubt. Never giving that grace to black people. So why the fuck would you expect black people to do it to you when you're suffering? Fuck you now and into the future. What are you talking about? Maybe you should have opened your fucking mouth back then and we'd open our mouth now. Fuck you.
It's not fair to me, I swear I'm going.
Right now I'm going to just read a quote from Edward Mendell House and what he had to say in a private meeting with Woodrow Wilson, president between 1913 and 1921, from the private papers of Woodrow Wilson. Quote, "Very soon, every American will be required to register their biological property in a national system designed to keep track of the people, and that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda, which will affect our security as chargeback for our fiat paper currency. Every American will be forced to register or suffer not being able to work and earn a living. They will be our chattel, and we will hold the security interest over them forever by operation of law merchant under the scheme of secured transactions. Americans, by unknowingly or unwittingly delivered the bills of lading to us, will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent, forever to remain economic slaves through taxation secured by their pledges. They will be stripped of their rights and given commercial value designated to keep us a profit that will be none the wiser. For not one man in a million could ever figure out our plans. And if by accident one or two would figure it out, we have in our arsenal plausible deniability. After all, this is the only logical way to fund government, by floating liens and debt to the registrants in the form of benefits and pledges. This will inevitably reap us huge profits beyond our wildest of expectations and leave every American a contributor to this fraud, which we will call social insurance. Without realizing it, every American will insure us for any loss we may incur, and in this manner, every American will unknowingly be our servant, however begrudgingly. The people will become helpless without any hope for their redemption, and we will employ the high office of the President as our dummy corporation to foment this plot against America. Having established plausible deniability, even if people become enlightened that they had a remedy and pursued it, the attorneys, judges, and legislators could claim that they did not understand the people's claims, especially if the technical requirements for achieving it were not followed pursuant to statutory requirements. Requiring the public schools to teach civics, government, and history classes out of federally approved, politically correct textbooks written by the publishing houses owned by the owners of the Federal Reserve would assure that the people would not discover the remedy for a long time, if ever. I would recommend that everyone read Fruit from a Poisonous Tree by Melvin Stamper, M-E-L-V-I-N, Stamper, S-T-A-M-P-E-R. That is Fruit from a Poisonous Tree. This is out of Chapter 2 of Fruit from a Poisonous Tree.
This is the real security threat. This security threat that they're worried about. They're worried about the original Americans of this land realizing who they are and spreading the truth about who we are, and no longer running with the narrative that they have created that we are all from Africa, which is not true. Has been so many evidence that points us to this land. Shout out to We Know the Truth Now for spreading so much knowledge. They have all this information in books, and people are starting to pull up the old books. This is one reason why they got rid of libraries, because they didn't want people to come back up. What they say, if you want to hide something from a so-called black, which we are not black, because this is the color black. If you want to hide something from us, put it in the book. So that's what they did. Hid the truth. Just do your due diligence and look it up yourself. Start researching the original people of America. Neuromelanated people. Peace and love.
And I'm very glad that you said this, because people think I'm just talking when I say that people in this country are not overweight by choice. The foods and drinks that the corporations in this country produce are genetically engineered and genetically modified in order to make consumers addicted to that food or drink. Here's the ingredient profile of Coca-Cola in America, and here's the ingredient profile of Coca-Cola in almost every country outside of the United States. When converted, the international Coca-Cola is 16.9 fluid ounces, and it's 150 calories for the entire bottle. Whereas American United States Coca-Cola is 190 calories for an entire bottle. 40 calories, what's the difference, right? Well, the international Coca-Cola uses real sugar, whereas American Coca-Cola uses high fructose corn syrup. Real sugar is metabolized in different parts of your body and actually tells your brain when it is satisfied. American Coca-Cola, which has high fructose corn syrup, is metabolized in the liver, which makes it more likely to be stored in your body as fat. Not only is it stored in your body as fat, but it doesn't signal to your brain that it's full. So you keep drinking that drink and you're never gonna feel full or satisfied, but you're still drinking 200 calories worth of liquids. High fructose corn syrup is more than just a sweetener. It's an addictive product that makes you want more and more and never fills you up. It's gonna store fat in your body, it's gonna bloat you up, and you're gonna keep on drinking it, and you're not even gonna realize you're drinking so much. So to tell an American person, stop doing that, when their brain is actually begging for it, is ignorant. Especially if their financial situation doesn't put them in a place where they can afford anything better quality. So to tell someone put the fork down, or to tell someone just eat less, when the food that they're eating is quite literally a product that is meant to make them a reoccurring customer, you're not really saying anything of substance. Especially when you realize that most people are priced out of real food in this country. But this isn't just to like bash Coca-Cola or anything like that. This is just to encourage mindful, intentional eating habits. Because you're now in a society where you're eating brands and products. You're not just eating food. So before you judge someone who you see drinking soda and you say something like, oh, you shouldn't be drinking that, really think about it and understand that they may not know why they like this drink so much or why they're addicted to that drink. Come from a perspective of trying to educate them on what they're actually drinking.
Why doesn't the US government help them track down their ancestry? Why are you not helping them go back to their home?
Hey, it's Fat Man Buddha, please say the Buddha, and that is a good question. Y'all ever wonder why is it that everybody gets the right to return, but Israelis never go back to Germany? Y'all ever realize that? You lost all those millions of people in Germany, but y'all refuse to go back to honor them during Holocaust Day. Y'all would rather go to a wall that wasn't built until 1980. So it has nothing to do with your people. Because the Palestinians actually built that wall, funny enough. But y'all won't go back home to Germany. But all the Israelis come from Germany. I mean, Yiddish is just Turkey mixed with German, mixed with Arabic. That's all it is. That's so strange. Why don't y'all want to go home? See y'all cousins. Did you notice that out of everyone who's making death threats against Israel, Germany's the only one who's not? Did you know that Germany has been Israel's biggest ally since Israel was founded? Of course you didn't know. Because quite honestly, I just found that out about 2 years ago myself. But still, did you know?
Make no mistake about it. He's coming for us. Is it tomorrow or is it a month down the road? But it's very concerning what I heard today. He did say that he's going to apply tariffs across the board, and I feel he's going to be targeting Canada, specifically Ontario, because we're the manufacturing might, and it's very concerning. These are going to be negotiations that are going to go on for quite some time right now.
Again, they had literal Germans singing at the presidential inauguration. They had a Spaniard, and yes, Spain was part of the Nazi Party. Everybody forgets that that Italy and Spain were once part of the Nazi Party. They had a Spaniard singing at the presidential American inauguration. What more evidence do you need that we are dealing with Nazis? What more do you need, man?
2025, we not dealing with that goofy ass propaganda, them pushing these weird ass narratives with these motherfucking NFL stars and these basketball players, only pushing interracial couples and shit like the fucking Shade Room, just stirring up the fucking pot, trying to make it seem like black men don't love our fucking women, bro, when those sports players only make up 2.2% of the fucking community. They are not the majority of the community. They're sports players. And for y'all to motherfucking push that goofy ass propaganda like somehow black women are hard to deal with. We love our women, black women, we love y'all. Y'all shit, y'all T, y'all always gonna be T. And it is what it is. Fuck them niggas.
Every September, people gather from far and near in this small Texas town near the Mexican border to celebrate their unique heritage.
I would like for you to just raise your hand, say the family you're representing, and where you're from.
Philip Young, I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Effie Williams, I'm from San Antonio.
I'm Yvonne Bess Sanders from Del Rio, and I'm a descendant of the Tibbet.
We are the only Maroons in the United States.
A major factor here is the fact that their ancestors, as they see it, never were slaves.
You know what a Maroon is? It's a
Black Seminole, also other ethnicities, are descendants of the Seminole Negro Indian Scouts. They were a legendary scouting and strike force unit for the United States military, based in Texas during the Indian Wars of the 1870s and 1880s.
I'm William Warrior, president at the present time of the Seminole Indian Scout Association here in Brackville, Kinney County, Texas.
Not everyone here knows all the historical details about these black border warriors, but they know enough to be very proud of this distinctive group of men.
The Seminole Negro Indian Scouts, their accomplishments that I know of, well, that they're undefeated warriors, and that they never lost anyone in battle.
Seminole Days in Brackettville every September is the time and place to pay tribute to the ancestors.
I have names in my head that my mother used to call their names, as if she were just trying to keep them in her memory. My connection is through my mother, who was Amanda Marie Blanks Brunson. Her great-grandfather was Isaac Payne.
I was probably in first or second grade, and something happened, something with Indians happened at school or something, and my mother said, well, you should talk to your grandfather, he's an Indian. And I said, oh, okay.
I want you to be as proud of your heritage as I am. We have a real legacy here.
Texas was the final part of the legacy, the Seminole Negro Indian Scouts. William Dub Warrior knows their history.
I'm just old enough where I can relate to people that would be 150, 160 years old now, because I'm 80, and they were like 85 or 87 or something when I came along with them. So I can go way back.
There are only a few photographs of the last group of Seminole Negro Indian Scouts.
This one is my wife's grandfather, Billy July. This is his brother, Ben July. This is Dembo Factor. Now, Dembo Factor is the oldest factor that we know of. And he fought in that Dave Massacre. This is Ben Wilson. And this is John July, the brother to Ben and Billy. And then this is William Shields.
Black Seminole also have another point of distinction.
My main interest is in the Seminole language, which it's on its way out, unfortunately. But historically, it connects a lot of links in Black American history, in American history, that so far doesn't make it into the textbooks.
What the Black Seminole call Seminole is a Gullah dialect.
When I speak Seminole, well, it's okay. No big deal. Our teachers were from San Antonio. Miss Charles and Miss Dorothy were the only Seminole girls that became teachers.
These school grounds here, like every year that we return here, it brings back, the old memories of me attending school here, playing out here on the school ground with kids here. And then, of course, without fail, the topic of Miss Charles C. Wilson comes up.
The late Miss Charles Emily Wilson, a teacher, was a revered matriarch of the Black Seminole community in Brackettville. She taught formal education while instilling pride in the Black Seminole heritage.
We may be black and we may be poor, but education is one thing that no one's going to be able to take away from you.
She was my very first teacher, and I think one of my most important and perhaps the most influential teacher, that I probably had in my life was her.
A couple of times I went up to their house, and they would make it a point when I was there, they would talk Seminole to their mother and father. And I think that was the point to say, we have to teach you what we have to teach you in school, but when you're outside of the school, be yourself.
Being herself meant being a Black Seminole. Their unique ethnic blend began more than 100 years ago in the 1,000 miles from Brackettville, Texas.
The Black Seminoles, which are also now called the Seminole Maroons, right? That I must be one of the only Black Seminole historians that don't call them Maroons. But anyway, what they were fugitive slaves that came down from South Carolina and from Georgia down into Florida.
Is the same technology that they use with the air conditioners.
Hey, it's Fat Man Buddha. Please say the Buddha, and I feel like being a little science today. So that's why I've been telling y'all that they have just been putting Freon in the air. Not just Freon, but dry ice. You do realize that those hurricanes on the coast of the east never went away. They just got pushed back because of the dry ice. So you put Freon in dry ice in a high atmosphere. Make sure that the sun is a constant 85 to 95 degrees, which it is right now. It is right now. And then you add either silver iodine or another type of bonding agent. And that causes all this fake snow. Well, not really the fake snow, it causes the cold weather. You understand? It's Freon. That's all it is, it's just Freon, man. He's right, man. This is the last winter we are going to have. Because before it started snowing, it was 60 degrees yesterday. I know you're thinking, well, that's not a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. You are 10 degrees from a summer day. Now all of a sudden, after planes go flying around the sun all day long, and they're not spraying chemtrails, they're spraying dry ice and Freon. And now all of a sudden it's snowing. Y'all be safe, man. And that's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of things for y'all to go crazy about. Your bills aren't going back down. Your food is about to be taken off the shelves. Your banks are closing down. Your rent is going up. You're starting to find out that you're paying for things that you really shouldn't be paying every month. But an app. I really do feel like y'all finna take to the streets and march about an app. 25,000 children went missing from Alabama just last year. But an app.
This could really unite Asian and Black people together. Like, hey, you guys are already invited, but you know.
Hey, this is Fat Man Buddha. Please say the Buddha. And do you know what else could really bring the Aboriginal and the Asian community together? History. Like, I get what the little jit was trying to do. You know, he wants a black girlfriend. Okay. But, you know, of all the ways to say that we could unite, let's actually look at the ways that we actually used to unite. You know, like how the Black Panther Party and Yellow Peril, you know, we work together. Hold on. Or how about this? And yes, you are reading that right. That sign says Free Huey P. Newton. You know what would make Asian Aboriginal relations better? Because it was at the top of its game back then. It was at the top of its, we suffered together. We built together. We loved together. It was at the top of its game back then. And then during the whole George Floyd thing, it started to show up again. Next thing you know, COVID hit. I'm just saying, for like, history started to repeat itself, and all of a sudden COVID. So again, bro, I understand that you want a damn Aboriginal girlfriend. That's cool. But of all the things to bring up food, instead of everything else that we've suffered through together, shows why you don't need to try. Because again, we were going down this same road before. You see, we were doing it again. And then COVID. Wow. Yes, but nevertheless, Black Power supports the Yellow Peril. Just like Yellow Peril supports Black Power.
What they could not do is never look like they were the victims. That's right. Which is why our name was also written out of history. Mm-hmm. Which is why there was no longer Yamasee. We became known as Creek. We're no longer Creek. We became known as Seminoles. You see? Mm-hmm. Again, back to it's always going to go back to the paper genocide. Wow. Because they knew at this point, at some point, people going to read. And they're going to see these Negro Indians that wreaked havoc.
When blacks have their self-respect, how do blacks and whites get together? Because if they don't get together and live together, we ain't got no world.
Get together how?
Well, how do we live together? How do blacks and whites live together in peace and get together?
Well, number one, the black man wants to become independent, and he's got something of his own, then you can respect one another. You can't respect a man always in your house begging. You feeding him, you clothing him, always around you begging. Don't do nothing for himself. America must help the slave to go for himself. And Elijah Muhammad says the only way we can get together is to let the slave live to himself, govern himself, marry himself, rule himself, build for himself, and educate himself on some land of his own. A total separation of the races is what we believe is the solution to our problem. Black man on his own land, building for self. Everybody has a nation but the Negroes in America.
They ate Nat Turner. They would never teach you that part.
Hey, Fat Man Buddha, please say the Buddha. And yes, they ate Nat Turner, they ate Malcolm X, they ate Martin Luther King, they ate anybody who was strong enough to stand up. That is a fact. They ate the pharaohs. Let that sink in. They ate the pharaohs. We are dealing with cannibals. We are dealing with cannibals. But y'all getting mad about TikTok. This isn't even the same TikTok because TikTok signed the propaganda agreement. Think.
So their system is not stopping. And then finally, I want to say that we need one idea. And we're not thinking about a solution to the problem. We're dealing with all these other things, but these are diversions from the solution to the problem. And we have to start to think about a solution to the problem so that these young brothers and sisters who are here now, who are 15, 16, and 17, are not here 25 years later talking about these same problems. Now, how do I know that the white people know that we are going to come up with a solution to the problem? I know it because they have retina scans, they have what they call racial profiling, DNA banks, and they're monitoring our people to try to prevent the one person from coming up with the one idea. And the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem. Now, I don't care whether you clap or not, but I'm saying to you that we need to solve this problem because they are going to kill us. And I will leave on that. So we have to just set up our own system and stop playing and get very serious and not be diverted.
So not only do you have to free the land and help to liberate the rest of the planet Earth for political power again, you'll have to do it so that all humanity can once again get back on its proper course. And we can live life as it's supposed to be lived. Become more godlike. The object of this knowledge is to be a reflection of yourself in the mirror of history. And when you look in that mirror, you will see God, because each one of us are in the image of the Creator, the Ancient of Days with the lamb woolly hair and the color of amber. And as Jeremiah said, he looked like the pitch of oven. Each one of us are reflections. When we look in the mirror, we see God. God shining forth from us. And if you truly believe in the Creator, then you know that you cannot accept a life other than the highest and the best that you can get out of it.